The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.
Hey, Bruce.
It's the late Bruce Linton.
So I actually missed that. Sorry.
It's the late Bruce Linton.
Yes, the very late, the tardy. But that's okay. You're a busy guy. How's your week been?
I'm in Vegas at the world's biggest pot show, and I was just a keynote speaker. So other than that, pretty good. It's awesome.
I've been following that all over social media, and I know a few people there. I'm so happy you called, actually, because I've been so curious. How is it?
It's amazingly gigantic. So I spoke at it 4 years ago, and I think there were about, 1,000 or 2,000 people. The trade show floor probably took you 30 minutes to walk because it was that small on a few things. Yesterday, I walked the trade show floor. It has 50 aisles, and in each aisle, there's at least 25 companies, and probably 50 companies, and it takes you 4+ hours to go through it. It has 16,000 or 18,000 people. I don't even know what the end number was who are attending. And the weirdest part is there's a whole bunch of huge businesses which have people here with cards that don't say the name of the business, because they wanted, and these, I mean, like big guys, think of huge air conditioning companies or huge electronic control companies sending all their people there just to learn.
No way. So they're trying to get in, but they're still, why are people still afraid to just put their face to the product and say, hey, we're here, and who cares? Do they think it'll hurt their customer base that much still?
Well, it's right. I'm in America right now where it's illegal to do anything with cannabis at a federal level. And so suppose your business is huge. Maybe you have the Department of National Defense or something in the U.S. as your customer. Now you're saying, am I going to supply people who break federal laws knowingly in one area and try and keep all my other contracts? So it gets a bit tricky down here. I'd say up in Canada, it's a lot more open.
Have you seen Jeff Sessions there at all, Bruce?
Yeah, so far, I didn't even see anybody who tried to dress up like him. Probably could have. But no, it's a big thing, and I would say that it is remarkable how much more professional the participants are at the show. The first year, 4 years ago, it was almost like people were bringing like a tablecloth from their house and putting it on a table and showing what the stuff looked like. It was really very amateur, and it's amazing in 4 years how much has changed.
And I'm not just saying this, but when I've been to a bunch of the sort of the lift expos and stuff, and I've been doing it for a couple of years now. Really there was like maybe one or two great booths, and Canopy Growth was always one of those where you had the proper step and repeats and these good looking tents and everything. And you're right, the rest of them, I'm like, hang on a second, people are investing in these companies and they look like literally used car salesmen. So it's nice to know they're cleaning up their act.
It's kind of awkward when you think, like, did they know this morning they were going to be at a trade show today, or did they just put the shit together in the last hour? Because some of them were a bit like that a few years ago, for sure.
Well, and especially because the face of it, you want to represent yourself well, because it's sort of you want to be in good company for all of it, so you don't want it to bring down the industry, which is where you guys are the kings of.
Yeah, and I would say if another dollar of investment goes into even one more vape device, I am shocked and amazed, because every fifth booth was somebody who had a better vape device. And I don't know that the world needs about 100 companies all doing the same thing.
Truth be told, I lost some money trying to invest in one of these like small companies in a vapor device. So
if
I know
you lost money in the pod space, I strongly recommend you never invest again in anything, because that's almost impossible.
It's a story of my life. It's good advice. I wish you gave it to me earlier.
You ended up with actual cooking pots or something when you invested in the pod space. You just didn't do your diligence. You ended up with cookware.
I didn't read the whole thing. I saw pot exactly.
Big shocker.
And the funny thing is, I don't even know how to cook. Oh my! I wish. Yeah. Anyway. Well, that's good. So I mean, it's blowing your mind, is it? And when you get up now and speak, what's sort of the response? What are the types of questions? What's kind of the common theme there this year?
So my presentation was about what's happening in the world, starting with Canada, which is kind of the reality of our sector. And so a lot of the questions were about, are you going to have all the product grown in Uruguay and shipped everywhere? And the answer is all around a lot of these things is no. Every country is probably going to control their own production, because it creates lots of jobs in areas where there wouldn't otherwise be jobs. Like Tweed being in Smith Falls has 300 people working at a facility that was empty for 5 years. And so most countries are looking at this more like job creation than cannabis production. You get a lot of questions around, I'm from the U.S., I want to come and work in Canada in the cannabis space because I'm getting, squeezed out down here. How do I do it? And the regrettable answer is it's kind of hard. There's not a big chance for you to jump up to from the U.S. to Canada.
Yeah, we don't want them. No,
but the licensing schemes have been around for so long. It's not easy to just say, well, I want to bring my business from the U.S. up to Canada and start up.
Well, and thankfully, in this case, it's awesome because you're helping Canadians get jobs, and what a beautiful thing with a new growing industry that you can help decrease sort of the unemployment. And the other thing is they don't make it easy for us to go and work there. So it's kind of nice that, I'm not trying to say we don't want, good American people working hard here in this country, but, and Brian O'Gorman's hosting the program today, Bruce. And as a comic, I mean, we see a ton of them try to get to the States.
Well, the States, they can come up here and make up to $30,000 in a year or something without a visa. And like, just because we want to encourage them to come up here and like film and stuff like that. But if we go down there, you need like, probably pay about that much in visas or whatever just to get down there or whatever. Actually, I paid for one of my visas, like $1,200 or something to go down for a year or something like that. Yeah, but they can just like roll up. It's pretty nuts. So, sir, what can I ask you? What do you think about some of the law enforcement in Toronto currently getting involved in marijuana production after putting a whole bunch of people in jail for it?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on money specifically. I think everybody can have a change of heart. I hope it's in fact that. Mm-hmm. And that people who genuinely want to run one of these businesses and make them into something good versus just try to chase a profit. Mm-hmm. But a lot has changed in the last 5 years, so it could actually be a true change in that I know, for example, I dealt with some of the people who were on the national task force for reviewing what should happen for adult access or legalization for rec. And a couple of them were police officers who were put on it. And I think their journey was from thinking this is really a dangerous and terrible thing, we got to just not even do this, to by the end of it, seeing how come it had to be regulated, and they really wanted to see the change. And so, when I talked to them, and they couldn't believe how much their views had changed once they got information. Maybe people changed, or maybe they're just jumping at money.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're asking for, isn't it? For people to have a change of heart anyway. Yeah. So I guess we can't get mad when they're doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's what 4 years ago was a very interesting topic for people, but very uncomfortable to approach. Now is completely an open topic. Mm-hmm. I was at a big fundraiser, and the president of the hospital for this big fundraiser, his wife started chatting with me about. She said, "Well, as soon as it's legal, I want to get tweed." I'm like, "Oh." She goes, "I've never smoked marijuana, and I really, really want to. And I really want it to be tweed." I said, this conversation probably wasn't happened 3 years ago at the fundraiser. No. And the fact that it's on now is just everybody's evolved.
Well, yeah, it seems like the moral stigma has been lifted a little bit, right? Like 5 years ago, it was morally wrong to smoke a joint. Now it's kind of wacky, It's just fun.
So I think there'll be, over the next 3 to 5 years in Canada, you're going to see a massive shift in how the product's presented. So we have the association with Constellation because I think a beverage which contains no alcohol but has cannabis as the intoxicant is going to be a more likely social norm than everybody who wants, smoking a joint. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's going to be a whole bunch of things that happen first in Canada and really change how the world looks at the product and the possibility.
And next year, some of those, dudes or ladies at the Las Vegas Expo there can actually put their company on their business cards. Every year we're getting closer to that, really, is what we're getting at.
Exactly.
Bruce,
I just jumped away from a big table full of rich people who want to talk about cannabis because I said, "Oh shit, I forgot to call Todd."
I love it. Go back and go to the money, man. Go. My last question on it was an email question. I don't know why someone emailed us this, but they wanted to know what Bruce Linton's favorite cereal was.
I don't know. I'll bring that one next week. I got to think that through because there's got to be some brand building out of that answer.
Well, I think that's probably what we're thinking. Anyway, I love it. Bruce, enjoy the rest of the expo. Thanks so much for the quick updates, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, man. Bruce Linton, what a good dude.
The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.